Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something that's always there, but we rarely think about it. The invisible safety net that's built around our entire work life. We kind of take it for granted, but how does it actually work? Well, let's dive in.
So let's just start with a really basic question. We all focus on salary, right? Of course you have to. But if you really stop and think about it, what is it that makes a job a truly good job? Is it feeling safe? Is it knowing that if something goes wrong, there's a backup plan? That's really the core of what we're going to explore.
Exactly. Because a great job is about so much more than what hits your bank account every month. It's really about this whole system of protection. And for this explainer, let's imagine this system as a powerful two-part safety net.
Here is probably the simplest way to think about it. The first part of that net is designed to protect you at work, while you're actually on the clock. The second part protects you in life, for those big challenges that might stop you from working in the first place. So let's start with part one, protection at work.
Okay, so this first pillar, it's all about your well-being right there in the workplace. This is the whole system that makes sure that when you show up to do your job, the environment itself is safe, it's healthy, and it's looking out for you. The official name for all this? Labor welfare. And when you look at the actual definition, it's kind of surprising. It's not just about rules and boring regulations. It says it's about all the activities designed to make life worth living for workers. I mean, that's a huge goal. It goes way beyond just the bare minimum for safety. It's about actively improving people's quality of life on the job. And listen, this isn't just a handful of random perks. Labor welfare is a serious, formal field of study. It's got its own well-defined scope, different types, like stuff that happens inside the factory versus outside, and there are even competing theories on the best way to do it. And all of it is guided by these core principles to make sure it's actually working.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does labor welfare actually look like on the ground? Day to day. How does it go from being an idea on paper to something real?
Well, the absolute bedrock, the starting point for everything is this: making sure the work environment is clean, safe, and healthy. This is your first line of defense. It's about making sure the place you work isn't slowly making you sick. We're talking about everything from good air quality to proper lighting and sanitation.
From that foundation, you build a proactive safety framework. And the key word here is proactive. It's not about just reacting when someone gets hurt. It's this constant cycle. First, you identify the risks. Then, you put protocols in place to handle them. You train everyone on those rules. And, this is crucial, if something does happen, you investigate it like crazy to make sure it never happens again.
Now, beyond just preventing sudden accidents, labor welfare also has to think long-term. It's designed to protect us from what are known as occupational diseases. These are illnesses that don't happen overnight. They develop over months or years because of the work you do. Think about a factory worker losing their hearing, or an office worker developing a repetitive strain injury. The goal is to prevent that from ever starting.
Okay, so that whole system is protecting you inside the workplace. But what happens when some big life event hits and you can't even get to work? That's where our second pillar, the second part of our safety net, kicks in. And this is the world of Social Security.
And notice the big shift in who's responsible here. This isn't just about your employer anymore. This is a much broader commitment from society as a whole. Social Security is basically the set of programs that society puts in place to catch you when you fall because of things like sickness, unemployment, or just getting older.
But here's the thing. Social Security isn't just one single program. To really get it, you have to understand that it's split into two totally distinct categories, and they work in completely different ways.
So here are the two approaches. On one side, you've got social assistance. This is the classic safety net. It's paid for by the state, by taxpayers, and it's given to people based on their level of need. But on the other side, you have social assurance. This is much more like an insurance plan. You and your employer both pay into a fund over your working life, and that gives you the right to get benefits later on based on what you put in.
So there we have it. These two massive pillars, one that protects you at your job and one that protects you from life's biggest challenges. And when you put them both together, you finally get the full picture, the complete safety net.
When it comes right down to it, they're just two sides of the very same coin. Labor welfare is your shield at work, focused on your immediate health and safety. And Social Security is your cushion, protecting you from those big life events that could take you out of the workforce completely.
And this whole framework, most of it just humming along quietly in the background of our lives, it's the absolute foundation of modern worker protection. It's what helps turn a simple job into a stable, secure part of your life.
And all of this leaves us with a really critical question, doesn't it? This system, it was built for a very different world of work. Now, as we're moving into an era of automation, remote work, the gig economy, how do we make sure this safety net evolves to protect the next generation of workers? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.